Hey guys, Jay here, hope you're doing well. In this lesson we're going to look at TOEFL reading skill number 3, which is make an inference. Don't worry, I'll teach you what the word inference means so you can answer this question. So, what are we going to do? What's the objective? First, I'm going to teach you how to understand the question type, so when you see it on test day, you know exactly what to do. Second, we're going to learn how to answer it accurately, which is the most important thing, I guess. So what we're going to do is a task description. I'll describe the task to you. I'm going to show you a method, and we're going to do some practice. Okay, so let me describe this task to you. This is what it will look like on test day. On the left-hand side, you'll see a passage of text. On the right-hand side, you'll see a question prompt, and you'll see answer options. Now, importantly, you'll know what this question is because you can see the word inferred. From paragraph 2, you can see paragraph 2 here, it can be inferred that something, okay? And then you've got your 4 answer options. Okay, so what's an inference? What does that mean? It can be inferred. An inference. Well, to infer means to understand the meaning behind what is said. To infer means to understand the meaning behind what is said. An inference is not directly stated in the text, or it's not directly said. It's not explicitly said. You infer information based on surrounding information. Let me give you a practical example. Let's say I'm sitting in your house and the window's open and it's cold outside. And you're near the window, and I say, oh, it's cold. What am I saying? Yes, I'm saying it's cold, but what's the other information that I'm sort of asking you or telling you? If you're standing near the window and I say, oh, it's cold in here, the inference that you can make is that I'm cold and that I should shut the window. Okay, that's an inference, because often in language we say things but we don't say them explicitly. There's meaning behind what is said, and we often do this to be polite or to sort of, how can I say this? I'll show you in the example that we're about to do, okay? Let me give you an example of an inference, okay? So let's say that dogs bark, okay? They make barking noises. Dogs bark, fine. Everybody knows that dogs bark, fine. I just heard a bark. So what's the inference here? Therefore, it must have been a what? Again, this is an inference where we haven't seen the dog, but we know it must have been a dog because we heard the bark, because dogs bark, all right? This is another example of an inference. And this happens in academic writing all the time. So probably not as easy as the dog barking example, but now you've got an idea. Let's look at a method. Step 1, read the question and the answer options. Fine, let's look at the question. From paragraph 2, it can be inferred that a mass extinction is due. It can be inferred that a mass extinction coincides with carbon cycling. It can be inferred that a mass extinction can wipe out fish species. It can be inferred that a mass extinction is common. So none of these are going to be explicitly stated in this text. We're going to have to read between the lines. Step 2, reread the relevant section carefully. Well, in fact, in this example, we're going to have to read the entire paragraph. So, let's read it. It can be inferred that a mass extinction is due, coincides with carbon cycling, can wipe out fish species, or is common. Here we go. In the past 540 million years, the Earth has endured 5 mass extinction events, each involving processes that upended the normal cycling of carbon through the atmosphere and oceans. These globally fatal perturbations in carbon each unfolded over thousands to millions of years and are coincident with the widespread extermination of species around the world. Worryingly, there has not been a mass extinction for about 100 million years. Can you see the inference here? What's the inference? What is this author saying without explicitly saying it? And let me give you a little example. I think this is the really key word here, and this section here. Okay, so in 540 million years, we've had 5 mass extinction events. Okay, so about every 100 million years. Worryingly, there has not been a mass extinction for about 100 million years. So it can be inferred that a mass extinction is due, coincides with carbon cycling, can wipe out fish species, or is common. Step 3, eliminate the incorrect answers. So, first of all, anything that's explicitly said or anything that just doesn't make sense, we're going to get rid of. So it can be inferred that a mass extinction coincides with carbon cycling. Well, here it says that a mass extinction upends the normal cycling of carbon, so it's not that one. Let's not do B. Can wipe out fish species, it just doesn't say that. It can be inferred that a mass extinction is common. Well, every 100 million years, that's not very common, is it? So that's wrong. Okay, so we're left with A. Choose the remaining answer. And the answer is, of course, A. It can be inferred, worryingly, there has not been a mass extinction for about 100 million years. It can be inferred that a mass extinction is due to occur or is due. I wrote this, so it's not really going to happen, so don't sweat about that. But that's the inference. I wanted you to understand the inference made. Cool, no problem. Let's do some practice. Here we go. I want you to pause the video. I want you to read the question prompt and the answer options. I want you to read the passage. I want you to find the inference. What is said without explicitly saying it? Pause the video, give yourself a minute. All right, did you do that? I hope you did. If you haven't, please go back and answer the question. Right now, let's look at the answer together. Okay, from paragraph 5, it can be inferred that babies are especially perceptive of physical appearance. It can be inferred that attractive people are more likely to be successful. It can be inferred that our judgment of others is most often accurate. It can be inferred that girls are more trustworthy than boys. The answer is B. It can be inferred that attractive people are more likely to be successful. Let me show you why. Okay, so if we look at this sentence here, it says, many psychology studies have proven the existence of the so-called beauty stereotype. This describes the phenomenon whereby more attractive people are also considered to be smarter and more sociable. So we can infer that if they're smarter, that if they're considered, not necessarily, if they're considered to be more smarter and more sociable, then we can infer that attractive people are more likely to be successful. That's the inference from this text. These ones were just not mentioned or they were incorrect. Okay? B is the inference that we can pull from this text. Cool. For TOEFL success, go to e2language.com. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. If you need practice with this type of question, which you probably do because it's tricky, check out the website. We offer tutorials, live classes, heaps of practice material, and loads more. I'll see you soon.